Summer Olympics is due to start in Fukushima. Normally, the curtain raiser event would be a time of huge celebrations, but of course, times are far from normal. The pandemic delayed the event and the opening ceremony as well by almost a year. And since then, according to a latest survey, the majority of Japanese have now turned against hosting the Games. But when it comes to local sponsorship, the organizing committee has already secured $3.5 billion worth of it, making it the most heavily sponsored in history. Branding expert Steve McGinnes says Japanese companies want to show their support.
The local brands in Japan have really got behind this. They really seem to want to make it succeed. And if it does succeed, this will probably have the highest viewership with the COVID increase in TV viewership of any Olympics ever, possibly any event ever. And if they get this right and it's seen as they hope as the light at the end of the COVID tunnel, that's a great thing to associate with. That'd be great for brand Japan. It'd be great for all of the brands that are being associated with it and those local brands. And it really could be seen as a symbolic turning of the corner. And to be part of that, I think the Japanese public, if this happens, will see this as being a really symbolic global moment and great for the Japanese perception of brand Japan globally.
But at the same time, it's recently been decided that there'll be no overseas visitors allowed, which means no boost to the tourism sector. So critics would argue that they're only hosting the games for the sake of sponsors, stakeholders like broadcasters.
That's true, and there's billions and billions of dollars at stake in terms of the broadcast rights. And as I mentioned, the increased viewership for those brands that are sponsoring, it could be in the region of nearly an extra billion viewers versus the Rio Olympics. But without those physical visitors, those are probably around some of the region of 600,000 visitors were expected into Japan. But the investment that Japan's already put into this, there's billions of dollars in infrastructure and support already in place, that would be lost if it didn't go ahead.
But couldn't those sponsors be blamed if the number of infections goes up because of the Games?
No, I don't think the sponsors will get the blame for that. I think that the large companies, the Unilevers, the Coca-Colas, they've managed to associate themselves with events and with sponsorship, and not just the Olympics, for a long time, and they're there for the glory and the association. But I think they'd be very clear that they're not down. It's not down to them if anything goes wrong.
And of course, we'll be bringing all the live pictures of the torch relay for the Tokyo Summer Olympics as it begins. So stay with us if you can. But for now, thank you so much for watching.